Circles always small, keep a certain few, only ever us, just the perfect crew. People ask for
Wait. I have another tourist quote. Moment. And it says, this is what I wrote down, the quote from the tourists in Bosnia. Bosnia is such a great country. It has so much potential, don't you think? Of course I f***ing do. And then of course the next question was, why isn't it working out? Why isn't the country moving forward and using all that potential? I've got to be honest with you guys. That's something that I thought about a lot, and my nephews, cousins, and everyone from outside of Bosnia thought about as well. I discussed this with the tourists and also with my cousin in the car. Why is the country at 5% of the total potential that they have? I see it as a series of events caused by the war. Those series of events are still going on actually, and I divide them in 3 categories. The biggest reason and the number 1 cause of the problem is the political system and the politicians themselves. And before you go fucking mental in the comments, don't worry. The next 2 will explain the rest. We have 3 presidents in Bosnia, which represent 3 different kinds of people that live in Bosnia. Croatians, Serbians, and Bosnians. Who came up with the idea for 3 presidents? Don't feel butthurt, Americans who are watching. Don't. All 3 of them are very nationalistic and represent their own side. The cooperation thingy is barely working, if it's working at all. Oh yeah, don't forget, they're corrupt as f***. Which brings us to the second part of the problem, which is the people who actually put those politicians in their position that they're in. And with people, I mean even the younger generations who have been literally brainwashed by their fucking parents to vote on the same idiots that are holding the country back for the last 20 years. They don't use their brains to develop an own opinion, but they just believe what their dad and grandpa tells them about the war, etc, blah 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 blah. So they automatically also vote for the biggest guy who represents their side in the country. But the younger generations, let's say 80% of them, does not fall for this, and they are developing their own opinion, and they are cooperating with different sides in school or outside of school, soccer, sports, whatever. So that's a smaller part of the problem, yet they are involved. Which brings us to the third part. Of the problem. And those are the people I kinda can blame. That's because those are the people who actually lived through the whole war and have the traumas. It's kinda like World War II. If you ask an American veteran or a German veteran if he hates Americans or the other way around, they'll say, yeah, I fucking hate them. Their opinions never change because of the things they've been through, which I understand. But all the people in Bosnia who are still alive after war are holding the country back this way. And of course, they're gonna vote for their party as well on their side and so on. They literally don't give a f*** who is representing them. It's just someone who's representing their side. They are not looking at if he's competent enough, if he has school education, if he has great ideas, a plan to make it all work. They just represent our side, that's it. And the younger generation is therefore outnumbered because there's more older generation guys and people who went through the war than the younger generation who's born after the war. And that's why there is no change in the political system. Jesus, almost fucked up right there. Political. And that's why literally 90% of the younger people growing up in Bosnia is leaving the country. They get their degrees, they learn the language of German or English, and they move to Austria, Germany, America, whatever. They all get out. It's no joke. And it's pretty sad to see because the one time they tried to set up their own party, they failed miserably because there's way more veterans and people who are still voting for the old who are still the current presidents or candidates for becoming presidents. So no one is working together, which makes it very hard to run a country which has 3 different nationalities in it. And to make it even worse, they split the country into parts, the Bosnian Croatian side and the Republika Srpska, the Serbian side, so people can hate each other even more, which just doesn't make sense at all. Look at the American chart, look at it, I'll put it up the screen right now. What if all the Canadians or Mexicans living in the border area in the United States, so they live at the border with Canada, and the Canadians living over the border try to create their own country inside of the United States. So they do not take a United States citizenship, but they hang up Canadian flags everywhere and say, yeah, we're Canadians now, and we want a president to represent us in the White House. Oh my God. Yeah, that's really going to help us build bonds again, reestablish as one country, a new nation. All these opportunities like tourism, like I've seen an increase in tourism, but it could be like tripled or quadrupled if we even invested in tourism, like the River Una that I show you guys. All the things we have over there, all the activities you can do. Besides that, we have like a lot of space for companies to come to build their whatever they want, like big office spaces. They can house a lot of people in there. They can run whatever they want from that country. You can build whatever you want, just only invest in it. Forget about the location. You're between east and west, so it's actually a pretty good location too to have a company. Then there's like a lot of natural resources. And I'm not gonna say this out loud because otherwise our American friends are coming in to bring a little bit of freedom, you know? America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucker! But yes, we do have a lot of natural resources. All kinds of wood, gold, oil, silver, copper mines. And you know what annoys me the most? People do not undertake any action against it. Like everyone, so not only your side in the country is seeing that you're not moving forward. The country is economically broken, like completely broken. Yet, they all sit in their yards, drinking beer, and just be saying like, oh yeah, so fucking bad. Yeah, we know, has been so bad. And they do that for the last 20 years. 20 years they've been doing that. So you guys are now wondering, why don't you go protest? We did protest, we did. And it lasted for like 3 or 4 whole days, which brought hell to the country, and the politicians fled the country to different countries, and there are different houses in different countries. Police was getting carried away. They burned down all the police cars, burned down some kind of state buildings, like government buildings. It was fucking insane. But you know what happened after those 3 to 4 days? Yeah, exactly. They went home, and the 5th day, no one came out. They were all like, yeah, we've done enough for now, yeah. And you know what changed? Nothing. Nothing changed. The people just, the politicians flew back, hopped back in their seats. All the people are repaying all the damages with their tax money, and nothing changed. Everything continued just like it was before. So what can I tell the tourists and the people who are asking me when the opportunities will be used, or when the country will be moving forward? There is like a sad reality, and that is when everyone who was alive during the war or survived the war dies. Sounds horrible, right? Only when this generation, this stubborn generation with sometimes great reasons to only vote for one party, even though I can say differently, I understand why, because if I would be looking through their eyes, from their perspective, I would do the same. But only when these people are in the ground and their children are there, there will be a bigger amount of people using their actual brains to say so. Don't be offended. And less people who are only voting because of what their parents or their grandpa says, but actually voting for someone who they think is great for leading the country. Also, the younger generation people, they don't care about the nationalities. Like, some do, but that's because of their parents. But most of the people, the younger people, they go to school together. Serbs, Croats, Bosnians, everywhere. Sarajevo, you have the university with like a huge exchange program. There's so many different nationalities there, and it all goes fine. So imagine, bad people, stubborn people, corrupt politicians gone, and those students, grown-up students in those positions. That is the moment when the country will start moving. So guys, thank you for watching to this video. I hope you learned a bit more about Bosnia and why it hasn't been moving forward like it should have been moving forward for the last 20 years. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share with your friends, and let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think? Will this be too late for Bosnia to move forward? And leave a comment for a next video topic. Can be anything, doesn't have to be related to Bosnia. Vimos se I ciao!